Like many stocks, Micron's stock price has decreased dramatically on fears of consumer spending decreasing. Unfortunately, Micron has also seen an influx of price target reduction by analysts that I believe is fueling that fear. Unfortunately, on today's episode, I am going to try to explain why I believe things might get worse for Micron before they get better, but I do believe there's plenty of bullish points for Micron in the long term of things. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out the pinned comment for a lot of great links, and also check out my new tech channel. So let's get started.
I do want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check out fool.com/Jose to get the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
All right, so if we take a closer look at Micron's stock price right now, it's sitting at $55.75. It is insane because from its 52-week high, the stock almost reached $100. And we can see the stock is down roughly 42% from its 52-week high. Right now sitting at a market cap of $62 billion. So for those not familiar with Micron, Micron is a company that produces memory and computer data storage that is pretty much used in any type of device we are using today, from our phones, cameras, TVs, data centers, computer, laptops, the list goes, vehicles, the list goes on and on. So like I mentioned, the past 2 to 3 weeks, we have seen an influx of analysts downgrading or reducing the price target of Micron. Here we can see on June 13, Summit Insights downgraded the stock to a hold from above. We also see on June 13th, UBS adjusted Micron's price target to $115 from $120. We also see on June 6th, Citigroup adjusted Micron's technology price target to $100 from $120. Piper Sandler was probably one of the biggest ones that cut Micron on June 3rd from $90 to $70. And the reason being is analyst Harsh Kumar expresses a huge concern about Micron's revenue and how it is heavily exposed to consumer-like markets. And as we continue to see, huge fears of consumer spending decreasing. And unfortunately today there was a research that brought a little bit more bearish news for Micron's consumer market, but as I am going to explain later on in this episode, there are bullish points for this company right now, like the data center segment. So there was a TrendForce research that kind of shows that even though we are at the peak season of kind of products and the rising DDR5 penetration, the third quarter of 2022 DRAM market is going to have some negative impact due to weak consumer electronics demand. And this is something we have been seeing and something we have definitely been discussing in the semiconductor industry, where the consumer market at the moment is definitely seeing some form of a slowdown. One of the biggest reasons is DRAM inventory has actually increased dramatically in a lot of these companies. So instead of purchasing some more memory from Microns or some of these other players, they're going to try to use their inventory first, because some of these OEMs, some of these companies that create phones, that create laptops, they don't want to spend money because they fear that consumers are not going to buy the products right now. So they want to reduce their inventory levels as soon as possible. In this chart with sources from TrendForce, we can see where some of the biggest downgrades are coming in prices. I do want to say most of the consumer products are seeing a decrease of 0 to 5% in the second quarter of this year, and continue to see more of a decrease in the upcoming quarter. Right, we can see PC, mobile, and kind of consumer products down. Few markets that don't seem to be down too much is first the server DRAM, and these are things being used by data centers, enterprises, and cloud providers. So we can see this market is not expected to decrease dramatically, which shows that, hey, the cloud market, the data center market is still at least healthy enough for prices not to go down. The other one that we did not see down too much is the graphics market. That's actually up a bit in second quarter of 2022, and it's expected to decrease a little bit in third quarter. I do believe one of the main reasons is we are seeing Nvidia, AMD, and Intel all kind of releasing or expected to release the next generation of graphics cards within the next few months, which I do believe is keeping a nice healthy amount of demand in the graphics memory department as well. But even though there is the data center market growth, the consumer market is still a very important portion for Micron. Here during their investor day, they kind of showed us the market size of their calendar year of 2021. And we can see mobile, PC, and auto as of calendar year of 2021 make up most of the kind of total addressable market for Micron. Even though data center is a big portion, the consumer market continues to outweigh it if you add all the consumer products. And here, if we take a closer look at the company's actual revenue by business unit, we can see in the most recent quarter, mobile is a huge important portion. Compute and networking and storage, this could be a mixture of both data centers and kind of consumer computer products, also play an important role. So at the end of the day, the consumer market at the moment is very, very important for Micron. They did share some form of insight of their upcoming quarter. They believe they'll have about $7.8 billion in revenue. That would be 1% up quarter over quarter and about 25% year over year. Fortunate for investors, we don't have to wait much more longer to understand what's really happening for semiconductor markets right now, as Micron is expected to report their third quarter results on June 30th of 2022, so roughly 10 days from now. Like I mentioned, I do believe in the short term, especially because of the consumer spending, Micron and other semiconductors might experience short-term pain, but I do believe in the long term. If we take a closer look at this chart, some of the biggest growers are data centers, are the automobile, are the industrials, and these are reasons why I believe to be bullish for Micron in the long term of things. And that's why as long-term investors, we do have that kind of advantage compared to some of these analysts. A lot of these analyst price targets are for the next 12 months, maybe even shorter, and for that reasons they really have to pay attention to short-term pain opposed to long investors where we can kind of ride out the noise. And at the moment, I do not own Micron stock, but I did not know this stock price had dropped to $55 at the moment. So if prices continue at these levels by the end of this week, I do believe that Micron has a high probability of entering my portfolio. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.